Okay, folks, like that. Now, according to Shepherds, Aristotle had warned time and time again throughout history these pure democracies had been captured by demagogues and had degenerated into dictatorial tyrannies. While while the founders specifically wanted a governing structure that was insulated from pure democracy, they also wanted a governing arrangement that, unlike the city states of ancient Greece, could function over a large area. In 1788, James Madison wrote in Federalist 14, in a democracy, the people meet and exercise the government in person, and in a republic, they assemble and administer it by their representatives and agents. A democracy, consequently, will be confined to a small spot. A republic may be extended over a large region. Yet, the founders all knew that many republics in history, such as the Roman Republic, have been replaced by despots. Consequently, when Benjamin Franklin was asked what sort of government he had been hatched at the Constitutional Convention of 1787, one in Philadelphia, he replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." See, he knew that keeping it was far from certain because demagogues would come along and proselytize the masses that America is a democracy. This is important today because, hell, the average citizen they believe that we are living in a democracy. This is why government overreach can happen in the face of the public with no reprisal. The founders would opine their ire for America being a pure democracy, though it is moot. It was said that Benjamin Franklin foresaid democracy is two wolves in the lamb voting on what to have for lunch, notwithstanding whether Franklin made that statement. It 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 um it still it still describes the thin line between democracy and tyranny. Under the simulacrum of democracy, the current and past executives were and are able to bring forth tyrannical decrees and commit war crimes with the advocacy of the media. Case in point, if any country mistakenly used drones to kill innocent people, it would be considered a war crime. However, since Biden is a Democratic president, it appeared to be okay, especially since in 2014, the Senate Intelligence Committee, chaired by fellow Democrat Dianne Feinstein, would no longer require a president to publicly disclose information about drone strikes or the victims. Essentially, excuse me, the Senate gave the president impunity of facing war crime charges, but this is partisan, e.g., the Obama administration, in that administration, Feinstein wanted to keep Avril Hines' drone strike blunders under wraps. Furthermore, much like the founding fathers foresaw tyranny to occur for generations, Americans have been conditioned to think we are in a democracy. That is the reason despotism has crept in American society via public safety, COVID. Biden has assigned Marxists to his cabinet, and Biden's presidency would make neo-Marxist Antonio Gramsci blush because America is currently in the throes of Gramsci's cultural hegemony. Um, hegemony. I'm sorry. However, before I explain my position, allow me to digress and tell you who Antonio Gramsci is and what cultural hegemony is. Gramsci was a Italian Marxist who was the founding member and leader of the Communist Party of Italy until he was imprisoned by Mussolini. Furthermore, he was a kind of neo-Marxist that did not ascribe to Marx or Trotsky's brand of communism, but rather that of Lenin's, who who was a strategist looking to gavel power and keeping it. Capitalism, Gramsci suggested, mentioned control, not just through violence and political and economic corrosion, but also through ideology. The bourgeoisie developed the hegemonic culture. Throughout cultural hegemony, it is the domination of a cultural diverse society by the ruling class, which manipulates the culture of the society, the beliefs and explanations, perceptions, values, and mores, so that the imposed ruling class worldview becomes the accepted cultural norm. The latter is paramount because our leaders, coefficient with the media and entertainers, are taming everyone else to be a subservient class. This that is what the gala displayed. You see, stars and politicians were able to roam maskless, whilst the subservient class had to wear a mask. See, as a matter, it is safe to conclude that according to cultural hegemony in America, masks are now emblematic of the subservient class. The ruling class consistently break mandates set forth by them, i.e., London Breed, AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, and Gretchen Whitmer. They are violators of their COVID guidelines. They close schools and businesses and forbid family gatherings. Conversely, these schmucks make sure that their children and grandchildren go to school. They go to upscale restaurants, maskless, and visit their family. I mean, remember, former New York Governor Cuomo told us it was too dangerous if you're in New York. He told us it was too dangerous to see our mothers and fathers for the holidays. only for us to ascertain that he spent the holidays with his mother. Yet, while citizens, elderly parents were dying of COVID in convalescent homes, additionally, the insult to injury was that even in death, they were denied the dignity of a proper send off. That further put it in black and white. COVID guidelines are for the subservient class. And speaking of COVID, under Trump's administration, all of the media pundits on MSNBC and CNN, entertainers and Democrat politicians who apoplectically were in contra of taking the vaccine regardless of the science are now the very same schmucks who are now supporting the vaccines, repeatedly telling citizens to trust and follow the science, albeit they won't tell us, they won't explain it, but whatever. And now merely just questioning the vaccine's safety is enough to be a COVID spreader and an adversary of democracy. You know, the kind of government that Franklin expressed would eventually rear tyranny. I mean, this is Gramsci's theorized society. You know, a Hunger Games scenario, so to speak. The ruling class set norms and mores that the subservient class must be obedient to and follow. Moreover, according to the Democrats, a perfect a perfect America is a repressive government structure, a police state, a police state totemic to to that of China. Precisely the reason Democrats are soft on them and continuously declaring Hunter Biden's CCP dealings as a Russian hoax. See, Democrats, including Biden and the media, are using Gramsci's approach under the masquerade of democracy to change America's governmental structure from a republic, because that's what we are, to a totalitarian regime. The Democrats only need to flip Florida and Texas to essentially make the United States, a one-party nation for years. However, the Democrats are ruthlessly using socialist grassroots to flip North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, and Florida to transform the United States into a one-party nation forever. Political discourse is at such a boiling point. It is somehow patriotic to attack Republicans, much like during Reconstruction. Additionally, it is now it is now patriotic for Democrat politicians to use hyperbolic rhetoric to incite violence on those for those with an opposing political view. However, citizens bear some responsibility. We are willfully voting these assholes in and allowing them to slowly commandeer our civil rights. Therefore, why am I of the opinion that everyone shouldn't be able to vote? Well, simply, we are in the age technology, information, where it is at our disposal. Yet and still, we are dumber than generations hitherto. There are college students and graduates who are clueless about the importance of 1776. They don't know what Veterans Day is for. They can't paraphrase, hell, four amendments of the Constitution. Some some even said Florida is in South America. Moreover, they fail to know how many continents there are. And these schmucks are able to vote. Psh, let me tell you something. We're doomed. The United States we once knew is gone. Welcome to the United States of communism. Ah, that's all I have to say about that. Like, comment, subscribe, and hell, hit the notification bell while you're at it. Well, that's it. That's all, folks.